FIFA 23 feels like it is changing every single week with everyone saying, what's the best formation? What's the best tactics? Today, we are bringing you our 4-2-2 custom tactics, which, let's be real, has been one of the stronger formations to use on FIFA 23 so far. And even with the changes to Travellas, to the ability to play the first time over the top through balls, and just dribbling and sprinting in general, the 4-2-2 is still up there for one of the best formations. So we are going to go through and give you that today. On Friday, you will be seeing all of our custom tactics and game plans. What do I run for ultra defensive, defensive, attacking, and ultra attacking? We run this 4-2-2 on our defensive formation. When you go to your game plans, you can see that there. I just want to say that these don't mean ultra defensive for me. These just mean tactic 1, tactic 2, tactic 3, tactic 4. 4-2-2 is something that I feel comfortable using from the start of the game, should I wish to. The reason being, it's so balanced. It's so neutral. The one thing I will say, straight up for you, for anyone that maybe looks at this and goes, I struggle to use it in-game. What you have to remember, with this right attacking mid and left attacking mid, it can be difficult sometimes to find the out ball, like with your right DM and left DM. Like, trying to find these players can be a little bit of a nuisance. So what you really need to do when you're playing about that is to use your fullbacks. Like, a lot of the times when you pick up the ball here with De Bruyne or whoever your left DM is, instead of trying to find it straight away to Salah, go to your fullback, drive it forward, and then bring it up. Or you might be able to just go directly up to the striker, depending on the press from the opponent. If you find it really difficult, you can use the same custom tactics, but just use it on the 4-4-2 instead, because that can be a little bit easier. But the 4-2-2 is really good because it's quick on the counter, allows you to break, beat those drop back players, beat those players that are sitting deep, and just be very efficient in the attack. Just want to interrupt this video to say we do stream a lot of FIFA 23 over on Twitch. That's your best place to get questions answered. Any further help that you may want, click the link in the description, click the follow button over on there, and come and say hello. Now, when it comes to defensive style, what do we run? We talk about this every single tactics video. This is down to personal preference. For me, the 4-2-2, the way we have this set up, is it is a balanced defensive style. Why do we do that? Well, it's a neutral formation. It's what I want to go to from the start. Running pressure on heavy touch is great when the opponent likes to pass it around the back, like around here, and you want to just try and gamble on any sort of heavy touches they may take and come in and step in and taking that away from them. Press on possession loss is also really good if you back your ability, if you know you are better than the opponent. If you feel like you are playing against someone who is constantly pressing you, constantly making it really difficult for you to play out, you know, kind of from the back, that might be because they're running press on possession loss. Not too many players will run constant pressure from the start. However, as I said, go with balance for most people, and then some tweaks should you wish to. Now, width is something that I've been playing around with recently on post-patch and with all the changes, and I've actually been sticking to a 50 width here, nice and neutral. The reason for this is when the thing that I fear really at the minute is my opponent beating my left back and my right back, because then if they beat them, I then have to bring my right centre-back over or my left centre-back because they're trying to get into this area to score the sweat goals. We did release a video recently on how to defend them, so you can check that out should you wish to after you've got these tactics. But for me, that's what we have to be careful of. So we go with 50 there. Now, depth. Again, depth is all down to personal preference. If you're on old gen, I'm fine with you running 40 here. I don't want you running too low, though, because what you do is you just basically tell all of your players, when we don't have the ball, when the opponent's attacking, let's sit in our own 18-yard box. And that invites too much pressure. But running like the 71 depth and above is a little bit more risky this year, as I've said in previous tactics videos, or at the minute, because of the way that people are sprinting past you kind of with ease. I've been settling on 60 here. It's just what's been working for me. It's a little bit higher, that it basically reduces the gap between the centre-back and your centre mid. So the gap between these players is a lot less, which just means that basically you can press the opponent a little bit easier. When you run a higher depth in itself, it's kind of counterintuitive because your team sits higher, there's more room in behind. But it actually means that, you know, these players here can all contribute to pressing the ball holder a little bit better. Build up play, we go balanced, and then for our chance creation, we go direct passing. This is a staple for me across a lot of my tactics right now. Why do we go build up play and balance? This is essentially when you pick the ball up in your own half and in that kind of midfield, and as you're looking to transition, you know, up into the middle of the pitch, up into that final third. Balance for me is one of the best ones, because what I will do is I will use L1, which is LB on Xbox, to trigger runners manually. If I want Salah to go, I can trigger him to do that in my own half. We've done plenty of tutorials on that and explained how to do that for you. But fast build up and long ball definitely can work. The reason why I don't do long ball anymore, though, is that the L1, R1 triangles is what I used to look for a lot, and the long ball really encouraged us to go for that. They're not as good. They're still very viable, don't get me wrong, but they're not as good. And I think for a lot of people on long ball, the biggest issue you have is you find it really difficult to find these attacking players. They're just all so far away, right? They're up against the defenders straight away as soon as you receive the ball, like with your centre half, and it can be quite difficult to play out from that press. So balance is what we go for there. And then when it comes to width, it's a fairly neutral and wide formation as it is in itself. So I don't like to tinker with this too much. 55 is what I've been going with recently on the 4-2-2. I used to run this a little bit narrower, so these sat in on that inside. The reason why I don't do that now is because the Travellas aren't as good. They are still viable, though, with an outside the foot shot trait. So Salah can bang them in with ease. Vinny Jr. not so much. So I have them sit a little bit wider than balanced. And the reason being is I'm really trying to look to get into that wing area. I want to basically try and see if we can get into here with my wingers a lot of the times to look for that swept back off across, because obviously that is a very, very strong method right now. Now, I do go for a high players inbox on this, 7, which I will talk to you about in the player instructions in a second, and the reason why we go for that. And then 3 corners and 1 free kicks. Corners are so viable right now. You have to use them. You have to try and look for crosses into the box. There's multiple ways that you can get your player to get on the end of it and get that header in. But now let's jump into the instructions. If you want to elevate your FIFA game and take it to that next level, you can get one-to-one coaching, squad reviews, and access to multiple videos to help you get better at FIFA. You can join our Patreon page starting from £4 per month. A link is in the description. So for our player instructions, one of the biggest changes I've made recently is that I actually run both of my strikers now on balanced. I don't run them on getting behind like I used to. I used to have Neymar as well on the false 9 instruction in the 4-4-2. I haven't dropped him into that in the 4-2-2 because I am trying to look to kind of hit on that counter, and I did try it, but what I found is when he drops in today, he basically just comes into the cam roll and he makes it a 4-2-3-1 with your right striker sat wide a little bit. So I just go with balance on these two. Now, the reason why I do that is because if I want Mbappe to run in behind, I will manually trigger it with L1. I'll manually trigger it with LB. I'll get him to go as and when. But the reason why I've not got him on getting behind anymore is direct passing encourages him to run anyway. But I also found a lot of the times he was trying to do it when like the opponent was sat already in their 18-yard box and he was running away from me. And you don't always want that. So he came off that. For our left attacking mid and right attacking mid, the only changes we have here is get into the box across, because basically if I'm running down the wing with Vinicius Jr. and I'm looking for that cutback, I just want Salah to be coming in at that back stick to try and get on the end of it. For my left centre mid, this is your box-to-box, your aggressive CM, the one that can shoot, pass, dribble, do a bit of everything. Have them on balance, cover centre. I absolutely love long shots. I love the power shot, the Travella shot, the finesse shot. You name it, we do it. So your player that is capable of doing that, make sure you have them on balance. But your other CM, the more defensive-minded CM, if you've got one, cut pass in lane, stay back while attacking and cover centre. And fullbacks, I've actually changed them. I used to run balanced fullbacks, and I love it. And I really do love it. But I've changed it to stay back while attacking from the start of the game, because what I'll do is I'll manually bring them up. And then if I'm chasing the game and I need to try and get some goals, then I'll change them to balanced. But I've also actually took them off overlap as well. We do normally run overlap on the fullbacks, but because our winger's already quite wide, sometimes I want my João Cancelo to actually come up on the inside of Vinicius Jr. here. So it doesn't always work that way, and I don't want him on inverted to do that every time, but it certainly is an option for us. So those are the tactics and the instructions that we're running on the 4-2-2. If you want to know how to cover the swept back goals that we spoke about, click the video next to me on screen here, and that'll take you over to it and show you exactly how to do that.